Adam has arrived.
Hey, Maurice and Odie gonna take over like Zach and Cody. Black and Snerdy is the best podcast. Gonna boom like Wile E. Coyote. Gonna make magic, they move like they hairy. Ain't talking about mental health, no, it's not scary. You know that she coming up with the astrology. Mo got a comic and that's the best policy. Maurice the goat, talking about animation cause you know. Odie she moving wavy like the boat. Watching some movies and she taking notes. Yeah, kick back, listen. Black and Snerdy have risen. Upload on a mission. 5 stars, never dissing. Black and Snerdy, ooh. Black and Snerdy, yeah. Black and Snerdy.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Black and Snerdy podcast, the only podcast where two sexy black nerds get together to shoot the shit. I am Mo, aka Kid Licorish.
And I'm Odie.
And together we are the aforementioned nerds here on episode 141 of the Black and Snerdy podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm all right. I mean, I'm not feeling that great. But I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm queer. Get used to it.
Yes, that's the way we should be. We're here, we're queer, get used to it. Boom. And for the listeners, they're probably already used to us being all gay and shit. But no, it's all good. I'm doing well too. Today kind of just flew by, and I got a decent nap in. So yeah, I'm feeling good, and I'm making baked potatoes for the first time.
For ever?
Yeah, I've never made baked potatoes before. Like the last few days has been me making things that I've never made before. I never made ribs. I never made rice. I never made.
Turned out good.
I never made baked potatoes. Can they sit there after being cooked for a while, or do they need to be cut?
I mean, you can cut them right then, but you don't have to. They're baked already. So as long as they're fully baked, did you poke holes in them?
No, the recipe that I looked at didn't say to poke holes in them.
But I told you to poke holes, right?
I didn't hear you say that.
I did, but okay.
Okay.
I mean, whenever you're trying out new things, if poking holes does not impact the potato, to me, poking holes just makes it cook faster because you're putting holes in it before it starts. That's why, like, when I tell you to put the holes in the meat, so that one seasoning goes into it, and like all the stuff that's on top will go into the meat. But then also it makes sure that it's like getting a good convection in the meat. Okay. So the same thing with any other kind of like a potato or whatever. It's not like, because unless you're chopping the potato up, like when you're doing that and you're roasting them, like it gets all the stuff in it. But otherwise, then you have to. Look,
I'm learning for the first time on all of this stuff. Right?
Yeah.
So
that's why this is not a criticism. It's just
I wasn't saying it was a criticism. I'm just saying it's the first time I'm learning all this stuff.
It's good to you're trying new things. You're doing them and it's working. With cooking, that's all it is. You just are trying stuff. Everyone had to cook something for the first time at least once. So
I'm not used to. I can make food. I'm not used to cooking. You know what I mean? And by cooking, I mean like making food for other people.
But I mean, even still, like when you're cooking stuff for yourself, you should still have like, even if I know that you're like, oh, I just eat for sustenance. Yes. But like also like food is still like a thing that we should take care for, even when we're cooking for ourselves, like not just to make something like, yeah, it's food, you're putting it in your mouth, it's giving you energy, but also this is something that's going to taste good and it's going to be like enjoyable.
The food I make does taste good.
No, I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm just saying that when we're making food, even when it's like something quick, like yesterday when I made myself a little sandwich while you were podcasting, it's like, oh, I'll just make a little quick grilled cheese. But it's like I did make a very simple grilled cheese. I was like, oh, I heard this thing about putting butter on the inside of the bread to make it like taste better. Let me try that, because that's going to make the food that I'm making. That is a literal simple sandwich. I probably ate it in less than a minute. But like, let me make sure that it tastes good. It's a grilled cheese, which is already enhancing just a regular sandwich. And so like, then it's just like a better thing. Like just thinking of it outside of doing the bare minimum for yourself, because when you do more than the bare minimum for yourself, you do more than the bare minimum for others when you're cooking, because like to me, I feel like when you're cooking for other people outside of yourself, it's like wanting to make sure that they are enjoying what you're making, that like even if you're trying something new or different, that like it tastes good, it's enjoyable, because it makes for like it's a better eating experience, you know. Because even like I think that I notice a very big difference in you when you've just like put something like randomly together versus when you've like actually put effort behind it. Like you have a very different um what is the word? I don't know. Engagement with the meal. Because even if you don't realize it, it's like when you put effort behind something, it's like even more enjoyable, and like you're having a more of like a moment with the thing versus just kind of like, you know, slapping it together and learning all these things you're adding to your repertoire.
I prefer slapping shit together though.
Everyone, of course, when you find yourself, slap shit together. And then when there's other people, it's like even if I slap something together, it's still gonna be something.
I think.
Like, ooh, this is
I
good.
think. I think I will. I think I am fine cooking with you in mind. Like I don't know if I'll ever get to the point where I'm cooking for a plethora
like,
of people.
Let's think of
you
like,
know what
okay,
I mean?
say for
like,
instance, if we're doing Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah, if we're going to Thanksgiving.
No, if we're doing Thanksgiving, like if we're cooking it,
if
right?
we're hosting it.
That is what do it. Yes, if we're hosting Thanksgiving, right? You now know how to make several different items. You can make a roast. You can make a rib. You could make a chicken. You could. These are different things that you know, and they also taste good. So it's like being able to make something for me is like yes, but if you can make it for me and I'm going to enjoy it, that means you can make for other people. Because it's not like you're necessarily even like expanding, because when you make a roast, it's just two of us and we're not eating that whole roast at one time. But if other people were here, we would all be eating that one thing. And so you having even just those key staple things as something that you know how to make that are good, whatever, you now have at least 3 things that you know how to do that you could help make a meal for a group of people. And even if it's just something where you're adding to like a potluck type of situation, but you now know how to make both a main of a roast, a side of Brussels sprouts or broccoli or baked potato, and also having, what was the other one?
What, ribs?
Like you have a roast, you have a main, and baked potato. Like that's also another side dish of like you now know how to make a variety of things so that you can give people a complete meal experience to enjoy. And that is something that is important because at the end of the day, you can know how to make something for you by yourself, which is like whatever when we're on our own and we're just cooking. That's just for me. So who cares whatever thing? I might just throw something together and make sure if I like it, I like it, right? And even if I don't really like it that much, I still we're gonna eat it. I mean, and then you know how to make something for another person where it's like not just thinking about yourself, you're thinking about this other person who's eating it. So I want to make sure that they're enjoying it. But even though you are able to do that for that one person, that means whatever the things that you're making can also go in a further reach. You know, so good on you. You're trying new things and adding things to your adulting resume.
I don't know if I'm a fan of it necessarily, but it is a thing that I'm doing, and
I mean,
it's a thing that
we all
I
need
could
to-
see how the benefits outweigh the not benefits, whatever the opposite of benefits are.
Consequences, detriments, yeah,
I don't
detriments.
know. I don't know.
Because I mean, at the end of the day, unfortunately, this is a part of adulting. We have to be able to both take care of ourselves and other people.
But that's the thing. Like adulting to me has always meant being able to take care of myself. Yeah, and on that, I thrive. I can thrive on being able to take care of myself.
Like with adulting, yes, you have to be able to take care of yourself. Like that's step 1 of adulting, and then the rest of it is having to take care of other people. Your big potatoes are done. So it's not adulting is yes, taking care of oneself. So that means all the bare minimum things I can do, right?
Yes.
And then number 2 is taking care of someone else. And even if that's in talking about, that's like maybe it could be like an intimate situation where it's like a partner. And then of course, then I would say step 3 would be
Taking care of what? Your community?
No, like taking care of then children, like, or being a caretaker, because being a caretaker then that's another layer. And then taking care of the older people, like being a caretaker 2.5 is then now you're taking care of the older people, whether it's your parents, aunts, uncles, whomever, grandparents. That's another level. And then of course taking care of your community is like another level of things, because at the end of the day, like, each section of our life, we have different responsibilities that are put on us. Most people in our age range, I think it's from the age of like 30 to 50, they call us the sandwich generation, because you're generally taking care of children as well as taking care of parents. Because children, most people by 30 on average, they might start having kids, right?
Sure.
But if we're 30 and say on average, most of our parents had us between the ages of 30 and 35.
Sure.
That means your parents are between the ages of 60 and 80. And if that's the case, there are different things that happen to people at that age.
Yeah.
We know that like all of our parents at this point have had some sort of medical situation or intervention, even if it wasn't, whether it was big or small.
Sure.
So, and then there's just like thinking about them, like they're getting older. So what's going on with them, their health, different aspects of their life that you have to take care of. And those of us who are blessed enough to have parents who don't have anything major going on, it's still something that you think about. And then it's like, if they do have something that goes on that is more like long term or requires you to take care of them or whatever, even if it's a short period of time, that's still something you have to do. So we are in that situation, because by the time you're in your 60s, because in general, most people don't live to like 120. You can imagine by the time you're in your 60s, our parents have transitioned. And then you still might be thinking about your children, but then you have gone into that spot where now you are thinking about, you subtract one and add somebody thinking about you, compared to us where we would have 2 up and going back up, whether it's your children, below whether it's your children, above where it's your parents. But then you just move. We are always moving into another spot of like life,
another tier.
It's
like a tier system.
And of different responsibilities, you know?
Sure.
So I think that it's like we have to constantly be mindful of that. And even though these things, they might feel annoying and it's like, or burdensome or whatever the case may be, it's like somebody else has always been there to do that thing for you. And you are just kind of stepping into that next phase of life. And also, we have the opportunities of the option of not stepping into those different phases. If you never want to have to take care of anyone but yourself in a very intimate situation, you never have to be partnered. If you never want to have to take care of someone else in this aspect of having a child, also very up to you. The only thing that is something where you think of it's guaranteed in this, or guaranteed because one, some people's parents pass away before they get to this age. Some people have toxic situations with their parents, so they would not have to necessarily feel any sort of need or want to have that reciprocal taking care of relationship. But I do think that it's a blessing to be able to have that relationship with your parents where you can be the ones to take care of them the way that they took care of you, you know, and it just keeps, it's like a cycle. But we can choose which ones we want. It's like, these are things where if it feels like this is going to be something that you hate and you just don't want to have to do it at all, you don't have to ever get partnered. You don't have to ever have children, which is our free will, whether it's just countries is always a different thing. But you don't have to do it. The only thing is, like, should we be taking care of our community? In my opinion, yes. because we are nothing without community, and our community is always going to take care of us regardless. So we should be able to be reciprocal in that space and in that way, because being selfish does not add anything to our lives. It just kind of takes away from our community benefit.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Sorry, a portion of what you said reminded me that Handmaid's Tale is coming back for a final season.
it is. Okay, so this is the thing. I low-key want to watch the final season.
Have you watched any of the other seasons?
I watched the first 2 seasons.
Oh, okay.
But
How many seasons are there?
I think it's 6.
6?
5 or 6.
Jesus.
I think it's season 5 or 6 because it came on during the pandemic, right?
It came on before the pandemic.
It was
right?
before? Because I didn't watch it until quarantine.
Yeah.
So I think it came out around that time.
I think it's been off TV because of the pandemic, but I think
that
it was around before the pandemic.
I think that it was around probably 2019 to like 2022.
2017.
2017. Okay. So that I started watching it 2020 during the pandemic. First 2 seasons were scaring the shit out of me. Well, it had 2 different feelings. One, I didn't like it. I felt uncomfortable because I'm like, this is exactly what's going on right now.
5 seasons with the 6th season coming out in 2 days.
Yes. And then 2, I had watched that Hulu documentary called The Family, which is crazy because it's an actual documentary of like these people who have been like in the Tea Party or like these super evangelical folks who are in this sort of Handmaid's Tale sort of mindset, that how they've been gaining power for all this time. And so watching that and watching Handmaid's Tale freaked me out. And so after season 2, I stopped watching because it was making me stressed out. And then 2, I don't like this whole Harriet Tubman Underground Railroad
allegory that they're doing
with a white woman.
Okay, yeah. It seems unbelievable.
But the thing about it is the book,
because white women wouldn't be helping other white women
or other black or brown or queer or whatever women. But I think about also like this book came out in the 70s, right? At that time, you had black women, brown women, yellow women, across the spectrum of non-white women who were experiencing forced breeding, what is it called when you can make someone not have sterilization?
Yeah.
Sexual trafficking, all those things were happening. Like, this is not new. It has not been new in history. We think about during slavery times. The forced sterilization, which up until I want to say the 80s, because I think it was either Puerto Rico or somewhere in South America where the American government in the like 60s, 70s, 80s was sterilizing people. Like, these things are not new. And we already see the amount of, when we talk about these camps, we were forcing people to work while they're being maltreated and in dangerous circumstances, prisons. I mean, we know, and general, and farming too, because that's another labor issue. So it's like, these things have always been happening. So framing it in a way for like white people, this is not new. And that's why it scares them so much. But I feel like for me as a black woman who is aware of history, like, this is not some new scary thing to me. The thing that's scariest about it is that it's old. Yeah. And I feel like now it's happening again, but it's involving white women, which means for black women, it's going to be even worse.
Yes, because it's always worse for women of color than it is for white women. If white women have to suffer, then you better believe everybody else is suffering more.
Exactly. And so it's like, so I was telling my students we were talking about Reconstruction and like suffrage and stuff. And I told them the quote where Susan B. Anthony was like, I'd rather cut off my right arm than give my vote to a black man before the woman. But even when she said woman, she wasn't really meaning all women.
Not all women. She meant white women. Yeah.
And so it's like, even when you watch the episodes for Handmaid's Tale, majority of the women who are in who are married and are getting these handmaids are white women.
Yeah.
And then the majority of the women who are either maids in the home or these breeding folks are black and brown women. Of course, you have some white ones. And then the ones, of course, who are in the brothels and these mines that they have are women of color. So it's just like, that is, I think, the main thing that kept me away from it. But the second part of it was it just was like it felt too close to home of what's happening right now.
Sure.
Even then, all with the Roe v. Wade being overturned and all this extreme evangelical, even compared to when we were younger, voices in government
and in places of power.
Exactly. And then just watching that documentary, it was just like too much. And I remember there was
So then why do you want to watch the final season?
The only reason I want to watch the final season is because it's actually the end, so I can see how everything goes. And then if I want, I can.
But
go
don't
back.
you have to? If you've only, it's the six seasons.
So
You've
I
only watched the first two. So
I
now you have to
3
watch 3 more
No,
in order to
this is
catch
the
up.
thing.
Or are
I
you
don't-
not watching those? You're just gonna go in blind.
I will 100% watch the last season and let that determine if I watch the rest, because there's a reason why shows like Lost to me, I wasn't really into them, because like that's too much suspense
Yeah.
for me to have to wait and see if it's gonna finish. Compared to this, where it's like I could watch the last season, and then if I like how that ends and I see where everyone ends up, right? Then, if I wanted to, I can either go back to season 1 or start off from the end of like season 2, where I decided I didn't want to anymore, and be able to watch it, because now I have a clear understanding of like this is where it's gonna end up, and I don't have to worry about like, is this person gonna die? What horrible end are they gonna have? You know, and hopefully, if it's a positive outcome, because we don't know, it's still in process. If it's a positive outcome, I can let myself go through all the motions with all this negative stuff. But I don't like having shows where it's either I feel like I'm never gonna find out what happened, like Lost and The Walking Dead. Like these are shows where like it's even
Walking
more,
Dead was grim.
It was grim, and it was like I would say in the first season, the first 2 seasons, I would say, and going forward from what I've heard, a lot of it was not like about the zombies as it was the people.
Yeah, it was all like the majority of it. It started off with it being like a survival from the zombies,
because
but as it goes on, it becomes who's a bigger monster?
Because the thing is,
humanity's the bigger monster.
Because that is honestly a thing. Because at the end of the day, like if that sort of thing were to happen, those first 2 years, people are trying to get out, because at that point, everybody else is either dead or they have found some sort of shelter or whatever to barricade themselves, and they're able to try kind of thrive. That's how just humanity works, regardless of what the situation is. We know that's going to happen. And so after that, it's like, what are we going to do with the power that comes with not having a clear and present like government? What's going to happen without having oversight where we can choose how we want to live? And that's where
those fucking monsters pop up, the charismatic leaders,
you always have these cults,
terrifying cults,
where it's like, especially
cultists,
if it's a man as a leader, where he now wants every woman to be his sex slave, depending on how old he deems fit, where it's like nobody else has rights but him. Basically, you have all these monarchies, and then you might have the ones where there's no gender thing, but it's gonna be fucking Hammurabi's code, where if you make any kind of thing against what these people see as fit, you're getting murdered.
Yeah, I don't see you surviving any of this shit, quite frankly.
Like, honestly, unless I found
you would speak up like so quickly at like even the concept of like even if you see a little bit of imbalance,
I'm gonna be like, but wait, I thought we were
and
here.
then you'll be either kicked out of the
I'm gonna be kicked out or murdered.
Yeah.
And it's like that. So those are neither ones for me. And then you have the fucking roving bands of men. You have the men who just want to grape and pillage because they feel like that's their birthright, and they should be able to do that whenever they want to, and then they're probably going to add cannibalism or some other brutality to it. But it's like, recognizing how there are people in the world who at their basis are not focused on like the betterment of everyone. It's just like, I know that, but I just don't necessarily want to see that all the time, and how people can just, even if they're not the ones committing the atrocities, allow them to go on.
Yeah.
That's just never going to be who I am. And then knowing that there's so many people who are like that just frustrates me, especially when it's like, we the people have more power in ourselves than just like these kind of small groups who want these things, especially when, for the most of us, we're not even when you watch Handmaid's Tale, how many of those men were actually fucking? Like, even what's the one that was like in the second season? His name was Blake.
I've only watched 1 or 2 episodes.
In this,
it was just too bleak for me.
It's
like
very bleak.
I can't watch it. Like, I don't get any enjoyment from like a bleak. It's just like when I watch. I struggled to watch The Leftovers.
Yeah,
all the way through because that
I didn't even
entire
get all the way
series
through.
was so bleak.
I think I got to season 2 of that one as well. I think those are things where it's like, when it's so bleak like that, I need to have you finish the series. Then I can go back because I can see how it ends.
Oh, I never go back. Not to those series. Not to the ones that are bleak and dark and shit like that. Unless it's very well.
Well, that's
written.
the thing, because some of them are
like
well
The Wire. The Wire has moments where it can be bleak, but
not moments. That is the reason why every single time I tell you, like,
real.
I really enjoy the show, but it's too real, especially because now, you know how we always laugh and say we grew up hood adjacent, right?
Sure.
Like The Wire, even though that may not have been my life, I know
people whose life that was. Yeah, it's the same here. Here.
So that's the part that kind of just makes it too real for me, where it's like, I like if the writing is great, the cinematography, all of that. But because of the realness, I think maybe it's like triggering something. You know, maybe if I was from like this life where I didn't experience or see those things, I could be able to see it as just kind of art and sharing something, but it's too much. It's too close. It's too close to home. But that was even though that wasn't planned, but like, great segue, because we're about almost 30 minutes in. We gotta get to the meat of the podcast for today.
It's bracket season. Well, it's not really.
No, but to me,
not even by the time we're recording this.
It's not, but I don't feel like we have to do something in the time. It's like, if I see it and I like it, we can do it. Regardless. Sure. So obviously, you know, March Madness just ended. I don't remember seeing who won in either the male or the female category.
Don't know if it was Gonzaga or not.
We don't know. UConn. Whoever. But congratulations to everyone who played. Juju, I look forward to you having a bounce back. I know tearing an ACL is just
special shout out to
sad.
Juju.
I know, like, your ACL, your MCL, those are things that it is not only is it painful, but they try to say that it's like career ending. And I want to say, we are manifesting over you that this is not a career ender. You're going to be back and better next season. Okay. And regardless whether you want to come back to the court, we stand you, and you're going to have 1,000,001 possibilities and opportunities and blessings available to you. Okay. Because you're extremely talented, and never let those fucking naysayers let you down. But we wanted to talk about some of our favorite Black girl TV shows.
Black girl led TV shows.
Yes, Black girl led TV shows. And I want to thank the creators of Therapy, the creator of Therapy for Black Girls, because this is where I even I was on Twitter, and I saw this in my retweet, and I was like, this is a great one. Let's use it. It's something that's already here made. We don't even think about it. But also, like, let's bring some eyes and ears on Therapy for Black Girls, okay? Because Dr. Joy, she has done her big thing. That's where I found my therapist and things like that, and so many other people. So thank you very much. All right, so let me put it on the screen.
Yeah, let's get it up there.
So are we in? Oh, let me put the custom thing so we can be able to be bigger. All right, so this is going to happen. You and I I'm going to give us the 2 ones.
Mm-hmm.
We will both discuss reason why we
Mhm.
think they should be chosen, and then we'll do a 3, 2, 1, boom, and I'll type in who it is. Okay?
When you say you'll type in who it is, like we're voting?
Yeah, we gotta vote.
Yeah, we gotta vote, and then 3, 2, 1, we vote.
Yeah.
Okay. What if we get a tie?
Ooh, if we get a tie, that's a good question. There's just 2 of us. All right. What do you think? A rock, paper, scissors?
Sure. Rock, paper, scissors.
Out of 1 or out of 2?
Best out of 3. We could do
Out
it
of
real
3.
quickly. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Hold on. Let me just put these little text boxes everywhere. Oh.
And there are shows on here for those of y'all who are just listening to this and not watching on
we'll tell
Spotify.
you what the shows are.
We will tell you what the shows are, but for those of y'all who are just like listening to the audio version of this, we have all types of shows on here that are starring black women and led by black women. We got Insecure, I see Half and Half, I see P-Valley, I see The Game, Being Mary Jane, Queen Sugar, How to Get Away with Murder, Scandal, which that bracket is gonna be weird. Living Single, Girlfriends, Moesha, Sister, One-on-One, The Proud Family, True Jackson, VIP, and That's So Raven.
All right, so all the
small things.
all right. Sorry. So I have should I enter it into full screen or is this fine?
No, this is fine.
All right, so we have the bracket up here.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start.
Let's start on the left side.
On the left side. All right. So That's So Raven versus True Jackson VP. All right. So we'll do 3, 2, 1. If we don't agree, then
are we writing this down?
You should write it down just so we make sure about it because I'm gonna write it on the board.
Okay.
So we'll do 3, 2, 1. We'll say it. If we match, we match. I'll just write it down, and then we can talk about why we liked it. If we don't match, that's when we'll give reason why one of us should win.
Sure.
And then we'll do rock, paper, scissors.
Sure.
And see who goes.
Okay then.
So That's So Raven versus True Jackson VP. 3, 2, 1.
That's So Raven. Okay.
That's So Raven.
It's the future I can see.
That's So Raven.
It's so mysterious to me.
That's So Raven.
It's the future
I can see.
Okay.
That's So Raven.
It's so mysterious to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah. So That's So Raven is just an iconic show.
And also, I want to say that True Jackson VP, good show, but it
was after my time
because it was like yes, in kind of our time.
Did you say That's So question?
Oops, I did. All right. So yes, the thing is that I think that because
you might want to do acronyms if it's
that big.
Yeah, That's So Raven. TSR.
Okay.
Yeah, TSR wins.
So I think that because it came out a little bit after what we were like when we were like not in Disney Channel because I've always been in Disney Channel, but like it wasn't the same as when
True Jackson was Nickelodeon.
Oh, Nickelodeon,
yes.
And I think it came out a few years after, and then even though
I think by the time it came out, we were out of that teen Disney phase.
Yeah, we were either in like senior high school or freshman year.
Let me see when it came out.
But I think because it didn't, because of the fact that like Keke Palmer's a few years younger than us.
Yes.
So it's like by that point, I was like, this is not. It's like cool, but not really for me. Okay.
Oh no, 2008.
When did That's So Raven come out? So That's So Raven came out like when we were starting high school.
I think so.
And 2008, we were already in college, so that means that even when I was watching Disney Channel, I wasn't like locked in the way that I was when I was in high school.
2003. That's
yeah,
already.
yeah. So it was a big difference. All right. Next one. So you want to do the last first, right?
Yeah.
So then we have the Proud Family or one. Ooh.
Or one-on-one.
One-on-one. Ooh. Okay, you do the countdown.
All right. 3, 2, 1. The
Proud
Family.
I
was gonna go with the one-on-one
I was gonna
initially.
go one-on-one too.
Because
that's why
one-on-one for those of y'all who don't know, one-on-one takes place in Baltimore.
It does.
And it is a show starring Flex Washington and Kyla Pratt.
Also, what's her name? Spirit.
What
Arnez. What was Arnez's name? Oh, and Arnez is from Cousin Skeeter.
Yes, Oh, I was about to say, why isn't Cousin Skeeter on here? But I'm like, it's black, female led.
Let me see what his name is in real life. I always thought he was so cute.
Of course you did. He had those eyes.
But he just in general, I just thought he was cute. And then, of course, by the time he got to one-on-one, then it had progressed from just regular cute. Robert Richard. Everyone says that he's that white guy's doppelganger. Oh, what is that? Robert Richard's white doppelganger. I'm gonna find his name, which I do.
Robert Richard.
Yeah.
Oh, I just thought of something kind of terrible. Hold on here. Let's do that while you're looking that up.
Okay, I found the name. Let me see if I can. Let me make sure I find his.
Has he been in anything recent?
He might. Okay, Robert Richard and Neil McDonough. Which, go look up Neil McDonough. Let me see if I can take a bit. If this will. Let me do a little screenshot and put it in there because I feel like when you all see it, you are going to.
He was in Coach Carter.
Yeah, he was. He was Samuel L. Jackson's son.
Okay. Well, he I mean, it looks like he still gets work. I mean,
he's been working, yeah.
RSVP, I Disconnect, Sweetwater.
What's the last thing he did?
The very last thing, or the very most recent thing?
Most recent thing.
House of Vicious.
I don't know.
I don't know what that is either. It might be a BET thing.
Or 2B.
The Fobbits.
The what?
He's chief on the Fobbits.
I don't know what that is. It sounds like a.
It sounds like a slur for hobbits. Slur for gay hobbits.
All right, that is not it. Never mind. All right.
It's a short drama. I don't know where any of these things are. Is he Canadian?
I don't think so.
It is hot.
Either way, go look up Robert Richard and Neil McDonough and you'll know there. Anyway.
Yeah. Next up is Sister versus Moesha.
This is stressful. Oh! This is so stressful.
All right, come on, let's go.
I don't know.
3, 2, 1. Moesha. There we go. And the only reason why Sister, which is a classic, the knock on it is that it also contains Marcus Houston.
Oh my god! That was my exact same reason. That's the only reason, because there's a thing. If you know anything about these shows, like I think Moesha.
Because I honestly would go Sister over Moesha because I realized watching Moesha nowadays as a full-grown adult, Moesha is a brat.
Oh, she's 100%.
She
was super privileged and entitled and mean to her friend.
Yes, she was.
Remember when she
was not a good friend.
She made fun of who was Niecy and what was the other one's name?
Niecy and what was the other one's name? I know Hakeem.
Hakeem. Oh, R.I.P.
R.I.P. Hakeem.
Countess Vaughn's character from the Parkers.
Yes.
That's not Niecy.
No. Kim. She was Kim.
Man, I remember watching episodes and like of them being mean to her because she was a little thicker than them. But when I remember being a little kid, and like of course at that time, like people saying like Kim's so fat, she's so fat, she's so fat.
Yeah.
But then like watching it now, you're like, no, she wasn't.
She was thick, but she wasn't fat.
The body issues that came into my head just seeing her and her being one, she's super talented, better singer than Brandy. Super on the show. Okay.
On the show in that world. Now I don't know about in
Now, I'm not going to
Brandy
say,
world.
of course, Brandy is the vocal Bible.
Yeah, she is. Like,
but Moesha versus Kim, and then Niecy, like, I just feel like Kim did not get her fair share, but I was grateful she got
she got her own show.
Even
like,
if it
with
was
the
for being, the chubby fat one, she still made it work for her. So
yes, she did. Dang, mama.
All right, and then yeah, Marcus Houston really just ruined it for them because everybody else on that show, Jackie Harry,
Jackie.
Is it Tim Robbins? Well, no, not for Tim.
No, not Tim Robbins.
But he's married. Did you know he's married to the light skinned Aunt Viv? They've been married for years.
The father from Sister? Really?
He and light skinned Aunt Viv have been married for years. And I think also, like, for me, Moesha, like, I loved her because of the fact that, like, she wore braids. And I remember
Tim Reed.
I used to get in so much, like, bullied about wearing braids because one, I went to school with a bunch of white people, and then the black people, they weren't wearing like extension braids.
What is it, the braids?
So Moesha was my inspiration, but I found out years later that allegedly she might have been wearing a wig.
Oh, like that entire time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which, no, that pissed me off. I'm like, damn, I used to think like, wow, we're kindred spirits because I have to sit here for hours on end and so do you. But no, you don't. You just got a fucking lace front. All right. So wait. Oh, okay. The next one. Girlfriends. No, okay. I'll do the countdown.
Okay.
Girlfriends versus living single. 3, 2, 1. Living single.
Girlfriends. I gotta go with girlfriends.
Wow.
I'm going with girlfriends.
Okay.
Only yes, living single walked so that girlfriends could fly or whatever the fuck mode of transportation that is. But I do think that girlfriends had it. There was something about girlfriends had so much like compelling drama to it in addition to the humor. Whereas Living Single was kind of light and playful, and it got heavy from time to time, but like Girlfriends, like it could be as light and dark as it wanted to from episode to episode. I remember the AIDS episode, the one episode where like I forget if it was like a knife or a sex toy or something like that. Yeah,
no,
and
why would it be it was a knife. It was a knife
because they was handling. I remember the episode where the free spirit, her sister came to town and said the N-word, her white adopted sister, said the N-word in a Jay-Z song. H to the Izzo. I remember it because when I watched it back a few years later, when it was streaming during quarantine, and they just put some generic hip hop in there because they couldn't afford H to the Izzo, obviously. And then it's just like rap, nigga, rap, and it's so weird. It's such a weird scene when you grow up knowing that it was H to the Izzo. Yeah.
So I appreciate.
Why do you go with Living Single?
I appreciate and understand why you picked the Girlfriends, right? Because I also I would be there every night, locked in, right?
Yeah.
But watching both of them again as a grown woman, one, I think that what I connect to with Living Single now, even more so than when I was a kid, is that's how my friendships are. Like the way that Tony and Joan and all the friends were super mean to each other in different times and different aspects. I do not experience that in my friendships. That feels very mean girl and toxic, which was very much mindset of how girlfriends relationships are in the 90s and for those generations of all this judgment and backbiting and all that.
You mean the 2000s?
Yeah, 2000s. But I feel like for Living Single, they tackled, even though
the two girls were mean to each other. They didn't like each other. Regine and
Eric Alexander, who was Max.
Max, yeah.
So
Max and Regine did not like each other.
Max and Regine, to me, felt like, we are very different type of people.
Mm-hmm.
And so we don't really vibe so much. However, because she's part of my group of people, that's my ride or die, even if I may not really feel like I'm gonna go for her necessarily for something. But you saw how there were times where she did, because she recognized this is her point of view on either side.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt like with the storylines in the Girlfriend show, even though I didn't recognize it at the time, to me were very toxic. Also, Joan was so fucking annoying. She would go on and also, and I will connect this even to say like Sex and the City, because I think Girlfriends walk so Sex and the City could run. That them being fucking annoying. Like
which came out first? I thought they came out at the same time.
Girlfriends came out first, and then Sex and the City, I believe.
Really?
I remember.
I'm
that's
looking
what
at
I remember. I don't know. I think so. Because I remember there being a controversy about Sex and the City getting more like marketing and stuff.
Sex and the City came out before Girlfriends.
Oh, okay. All right.
By 2 years, 1998 and 2000. Yeah.
But I feel like on both of those shows, it was like okay for like the main character to be really annoying and obnoxious with her friends, which I'm like, no, it's not. Like somebody would have had already called her out.
But like there are episodes where they call each other out,
of course,
like on all their behavior. No, and I like that. I like that realism, because like they're friends. They tolerate each other's like quirks and flaws and flavors, but they are not afraid to like actually call each other out. I remember that the scene where like Tony and Joan like stopped being friends because Joan was like mad selfish. It was always about her problems and not about Tony, and Tony was about to marry that
Darnell.
No. Tony
guy
was married.
Tony, but no, this is the thing, because Tony was
the Jewish man.
Tony was always super self-centered.
Yes, she was.
And so she always expected Joan to be there for her through everything. And when Joan finally was like, let me do this, like let me have my own feelings and all this stuff, Tony was like, why aren't you being there for me? When it's like you can't always be the one who's the main attraction. It needs to be reciprocal. Right. All right. So
let's do rock, paper, scissors for it.
So you're not willing to change your vote?
I'm not changing my vote. I still go with Girlfriends.
Okay. All right.
And mind you, I also say this knowing that Girlfriends never had a proper series finale.
They did not.
And that they lost Tony along the way.
Yes, they did.
And they tried to replace her with the woman who dated
what's his name? What's his name?
William, yeah. All right, so let's do this.
Rock,
paper, scissors, says shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, says shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, says shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, says shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, says shoot. We're going with Girlfriends. They're through thick and thin. My girlfriend. All right. So now let's do the right side. And just as a warning for everybody who's listening to this or watching this on Instagram, at the hour mark, Instagram is going to shut us down. So please go to the YouTube channel. I will make sure to put the link to the YouTube channel into the body of the Instagram when this is playing. Oh, we also need to figure out when to do last week's episode on Instagram. So or
just go watch it from Instagram on YouTube from the beginning.
Yeah, watch it on YouTube from the beginning, or watch it on Spotify. Now we're doing videos on Spotify or Facebook. Okay, so now we have Insecure versus Half and Half.
Oh my God, this is terrible. This is getting harder and harder.
No, this one's pretty easy. I will say that this one is really easy, and this is, and mind you, this is challenging for me because at least one of these shows I had a huge crush on one of the main leads, and I thought she was so fucking sexy. But then again, I went through a phase of colorism existed, I guess, in the 90s.
You guess?
2000s.
You guess?
Yeah. I had a type. Anyhow, and then my type evolved over time. It changed.
So this is why it's difficult for me.
Why?
Is because both of these shows I feel are so integral to like different aspects of my life. Of
you
Black
have a
girl.
blended family, and you're also insecure.
Well, yeah, I wasn't.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
You're the nerdy black girl, yeah, or
And
awkward black girl.
Yes.
And you're from a blended family, so half and half makes a lot of sense why you would be on the fence for both of those. But there can be only one. So how about we do a countdown? I'll do the countdown, okay? 3, 2, 1. Insecure. There we go. Insecure. Issa Rae, you have made a lasting. We were just talking about rap shit the other day and how it sucks that it canceled.
Because and now you were thinking that maybe we didn't watch the last episode for another because it just canceled. But to me, my thing was like, I loved the show so much, I don't want it to end.
Mm-hmm.
So once I knew that like they weren't getting another season, I was like, I now have to hoard this last.
Is that why? I feel like that's kind of the reasoning why you said you never finished Broad City.
No. I finished Broad City. I told you I can't rewatch it.
Oh, okay.
Because it gets so frustrating because they're just being too dumb and too white woman-y.
Yeah.
Which at the time I was able to get, but I feel like now because I'm outside of that space.
It's funny to me that Girls and Broad City were such these big things for white girls of the Gen Z generation or something. And years later, after, no one's talking about it.
And the thing is, I never
like their
Girls.
legacy is nowhere to be found.
I never liked Girls, but I definitely did like Broad City because I did feel connected to it.
Yeah, I liked Broad City too.
But I think that whenever I tried to rewatch Girls, Lena Waithe was so fucking annoying, and her friends were so fucking annoying. I couldn't do it, especially for someone who like loves Sex and the City, and they always used to have like the connection to it. And
it's like a trashy Sex in the City.
And then
not trashy, but like
dumb, dumber. Because Sex and the City they are sometimes, except for a few of them, sometimes they are fucking annoying. Piss you off.
Sex in the City for our 20s, I guess.
That's what they always try to say. And so me watching, I was like, no, if this would have been what Sex and the City was, I would have cut this shit off. And perhaps because I
knew a lot of white girls then that resonated with girls I watched girls thinking like, oh, this reminds me of I was in the comedy community.
Well, of course.
And it was full of white women who were just like that. So
you were the one Donald
yes,
Glover
I was the
episode?
Donald Glover, yes.
You were the one Donald Glover
although I wasn't conservative.
Well,
wait, isn't that how that episode goes? Like, it turns out he's conservative?
a black conservative, yeah, because she thought like, ooh, black guy, he's
yeah.
All right, so half and half. I want to say that I'm really sorry that I could not keep you in here because of the blended family bit, because Essence Atkins.
Which one is Essence Atkins? Is she? Oh, I think she might be the one that I was referring to. Half and half.
This show,
not 2.5 Men.
I know they always want Essence Atkins and
Rachel True. It was Rachel True that I was
from Charmed.
Rachel True. She could get it.
That's
the one that I had the crush on.
Well,
The Craft.
Well, that's why she was always my like.
Oh, she was Mary Jane and Half Baked.
Yes. I always saw Rachel True, like me and her were like kindred spirits of like, you're from the original family and you feel like your father has this new family and it's for their lives are better than yours and you have to struggle more. Like it was this whole tween thing that I had.
I'm not look at this. I didn't realize that they had a knockoff sequel.
Yo, but why is he still in it? And she's in both of them?
Yeah, she's in both.
She needed to make a check, so I understand. But Rachel True always felt like, because she was the original awkward black girl.
Yeah.
And she and I always felt like kindred spirits. Like she is who I am. Just,
Yeah. All right.
But we love you, half and half. This was very difficult to make. This was a very difficult decision. All right. So the next one is
P-Valley versus the game.
funny.
Now, I will go ahead and say this. I have not watched enough of P-Valley because it's on Stars, right?
But I feel like even though I have also not watched P-Valley, I feel like what I'm thinking
I've watched enough of it. I just haven't watched.
But
I'm not caught up.
I'm going to. My vote is going for what I know about each shows, what I've watched.
Yeah, it's
shows,
on Stars. It's on Stars.
And how much I have enjoyed each shows and what shows I want to go back and watch again.
Mm-hmm.
So that is what I'm going to say off rip. I have not. Neither of these shows have I watched to completion.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these shows I've watched. Some of them I've watched more than others.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go off what I know, what I've enjoyed, and all that other stuff.
Okay, then. With that being said, let's count it down.
Okay.
What are you doing?
I'm making sure that you can get the thing.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
P-Valley.
Wow, really? Really?
Yeah. Only thing is because this is what happened. I watched I watched the game from when it started.
Yes.
From all the shenanigans.
It got canceled, then it got picked up by BT, and when it got picked up by BT, it changed. It lost people.
It lost the good way of the writing and all that.
Yeah.
And then
I just remember in college, and we went to Howard. Everybody was into the game
because what's his name,
and to the point where I almost got my ass beat up by Charlotte because I was like, I'm pretty sure the game is not as good as you say it is, and she was like, excuse me, say that one more fucking time, I'm beat the shit out of you, and I was like, all right.
Well, what's his name? I met one of them. Hosea Sanchez, who played the...
Oh, Jay Ellis was in the show?
Yeah, he was in there a little bit towards the end, I believe.
Okay.
But to me, like, Brandy was in it. Like,
it was a spinoff of Girlfriends.
Yes, that was. And I've watched that episode, in between the times to see. The reason why I picked P-Valley is one, the black queerness that is shown.
Sure.
The writing that it has and the episodes that I've seen. And even though it only has one season, everyone's been waiting for the second season to come out. So
do you think would you say that this is probably a little bit of recency bias? Because it's the most recent show out of the two.
No, not because of that. Because I was pissed off once it left. The WB and went to Game, I was pissed off.
It went to BET
or to BET. I never went and finished. I never was able to finish watching because I was just like, this is terrible. Like I just didn't like it.
Yeah,
I would jump
the
in
BET
and out.
years really dropped in quality,
and it was like I would know I would keep up with what was happening by like the blogs or whatever, but I never. Whenever I would try to watch the show, I was like, always felt like, ugh, like I'm not interested. So that is why I feel like the P-Valley, even though it has one season as of right now, the way that it has great writing, cinematography, acting, to me, it overlaps the game because if you were just doing season by season, if I only had one season of the game or one or two seasons of the game and then have P-Valley, but once it gets to BET, I'm sorry, I can't.
Okay,
I can't do it. So
all right, that's
do fair. You want to keep your vote?
I think that the game had a large impact, and I could honestly see a world where without the game, we don't get a lot of black dramas that exists, like especially from like coming out of BET. Like BET, that the game was one of the first shows that BET saved after it got canceled from WB, and I feel like it otherwise BET was just reruns of Baby Boy. And that horror movie with Snoop Dogg. Bones, yeah. It was a Bone, not Bone Collector. It was Bones.
No, it was Bones. Bones Collector was with Denzel.
Yeah.
All right.
So let's go. Rock, paper, scissors, says shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, says shoot. So we're going with the game. Oh boy. Now this next one.
Ooh.
Being Mary Jane versus Queen Sugar. I have not seen a lot of Being Mary Jane, but I've heard a lot of really good things.
I have watched season 1 in full and season 2 halfway for Being Mary Jane, and I have watched all of season 1. I think
I've watched
season 1 for Queen Sugar.
All of Queen Sugar. I
All
was
right.
enthralled by Queen Sugar.
All right, so I think that to me, I have enough information for both shows, and I have reasons why I may have cut watching the seasons off earlier than the finish. But I've watched enough to see which one, if I'm voting on who would I like to see have a longer time frame, or would I pick to rewatch currently?
Okay, so with that being said, 3, 2, 1, Queen Sugar. All right, so we don't even have to figure that out.
Queen Sugar. The only reason I didn't really finish it because it was just so stressful for me because it was a lot. It was like
there was a lot going on.
Ava DuVernay is a great ass.
Yeah, she
writer, producer, everything. She makes you feel it.
What's crazy to me is Greenleaf is not on here.
Ooh.
It has Queen Sugar, but it doesn't have Greenleaf. And Greenleaf is Black woman led. So I'm just saying, Greenleaf exists too. And you got Keith David, but for Queen Sugar, the only more like what?
Keith Yavid.
Keith Yavid. Okay, that's the title.
He's he's a man. You got the thing right there. That's as my mom would say. He's a man.
It's only because he has that voice. He has the most black voice I've ever heard. That voice is the voice that.
That's the voice.
It's the quintessential black voice. Are you ready?
Are you ready?
You know he's the voice of him in Frog Princess. He's the voice of the villain.
I don't know why I thought that was called that of Samuel Jackson.
No, that's Keith David.
Okay.
That's why I just started singing that song.
I know that, but I mean, I don't know why I thought it was somebody else. All right. This next one is really difficult for me. How to Get Away with Murder or Scandal?
They're both very pivotal.
Okay. So let's just say both of them. I did not watch the last season. That because both of them stressed me out so much.
I have only seen a little bit of both.
I love both of them. It was just that both of them were just like, oh my God, like every week. This is one of those shows where I would feel the need to like fast forward to the end of the episode so I can get, because Shonda, and you know I love Grey's Anatomy, so I already know.
Grey's Anatomy.
Well, most of us are.
Yeah.
Grey's Anatomy is one of those shows too, so it's like, when she did How to Get Away with Murder and Scandal, like that was my Thursdays, my friends and I with our freaking popcorn and wine to get through. So this is different. This is honestly.
All right. So with that being said,
I don't even want to do this one because I'm so like.
We have to. So all right. Let's go into it. 3, 2, 1. Scandal.
Oh, okay. And this is the thing. I love both of these shows.
Both shows are really good, but
it's because Scandal
started it off.
Like I remember when Scandal started. I remember it had Columbus Short, and the way my friends and I would literally be just locked in. Watching that's very difficult. All right.
So it's on Prime. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Because I had to actually rewatch it because like I watched up until I think the 5th season and I didn't want to watch the last season because I was just like, I need to.
Yeah, it has 7 seasons and only the first 3 seasons are on Prime?
No, but there's other seasons on I think Netflix or something.
It's on Roku and Plex.
But that's annoying because, like, I'm watching, with Law and Order.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped watching regular Law and Order because it goes up until season 20.
Mm-hmm.
But there's the next season on Hulu is 21. Where are the rest of the 4 seasons?
You mean Peacock?
Peacock, yeah. So, like, where are the rest of the 4 seasons? It's annoying. And they only started it at season 13.
Well, I mean, but with Law and Order, it's not like they're following one through storyline. You know what I mean?
I like to watch. Whenever I've done my rewatch of Law and Order SVU,
they're like Pringles.
I start from season 1, even though I can pop in and out, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'll start from season 1, episode 1. I'll go through, and I like that because I get to see the things that they've changed, they've done differently, what things pop in and pop out. I don't like when they break up these seasons. Just put it all on one thing. Why? Like, you bought one part of it, buy the rest of them so that we can watch the whole thing. All right, so now we've done the first initial brackets.
Yeah, now we're in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 8. The what is it's Sweet 16 and then the
Grade 8.
Grade 8? Maybe.
Is it the Grade 8?
Maybe it's Grade 8. All right.
That name is just popping out to me. All right.
Yeah.
So the first one, That's So Raven and the Proud Family.
All right. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, why am I doing rock, paper, scissors? 3, 2, 1.
That's
Proud
So
Family.
Raven.
Oh.
Wow.
Okay, let me explain.
Okay.
Like, the Proud Family was the first, like, animated black family that I had seen in a long time. Like, I'd seen a lot of animated shows up until that point that had, like, Wayne Head. Do you remember Wayne Head?
Yeah, I do.
You remember Seabear and Jamal? All of these fucking black but none of them was like a black family sitcom. Yeah. That was dueling out life lessons. And then they brought it back for a little bit, although for obvious reasons Orlando Brown's character Sticky did not come back. Yes. Now, speaking of his other show, That's So Raven. That's So Raven also came back. And still Orlando Brown did not come back. But they had, Raven's house or whatever, and it goes even further. And to me, the same way you felt for the animation, I felt for, like, having a black girl, having a black cast, except for Chelsea. But even still, she was super an ally. Yeah, she was on the side of righteousness. Having a black cast, the mom, the dad, everybody, the brother, all these people on Disney Channel that I loved watching so much. And, like, I used to love, of course, what's the one? The fact that they were blue because they were ashy was really funny. That's hilarious. But with That's So Raven, they had the literal, like, it wasn't just animated black or just making it up. Like, this is real black people. Not to mention, we did not get real black people on screen doing things, having a black mother and father, a black brother, black people on the screen doing blackness. Yeah, they were doing blackness too. Do you remember that Kwanzaa episode? They were doing blackness, but they weren't real black people. These are real in real life. I could go get an autograph from that black people. You can get an autograph from the voice actors. None of them were like white people playing black voices. Are we sure? No. Do we know? It's Kyla Pratt? Yes, Kyla Pratt as David. No. Tommy Davidson. Tommy Davidson. But I'm just saying, like, looking at black people who are on the screen, Carlos Mencia, written up and animated, is a different feeling. You cannot tell me it's the same thing for you to see a drawing someone created and a real person who is like, you could walk up to them and be like, hey, how are you doing? What's your process or something, whatever. Like, what is it like being a black person in screen? Those animations don't have feelings about what it's like to be an animation. But the voices behind them do. Okay. And we don't give enough credit to the black voices that have been in the Phil Lamar. Those people are so important. Kevin Michael Richardson. But me as a child, seeing a real life black person
it to me was bigger than someone that I would assume was black, but I wouldn't have known was black unless I went to look them up.
That was a black ass. The Proud Family was a black ass show with black ass voices.
But you had to look that up, didn't you?
I never had to look up to figure out if they were black voices.
This isn't for sure.
This isn't a Family Guy fucking show where like the black voices are done by white
That's
people.
So Raven. You see black people, not fake black people.
And yet their stories were 100% as real as could be.
They were. They dealt with lots of various things.
Come on.
All right.
Rock, paper, scissors, says shoot. Bam. Rock, paper, scissors, says shoot.
Bam.
Rock, paper, scissors, says shoot. Bam.
Ah!
We're going with the Proud Family. We're going with the Proud Family. So there we go. Sorry, that's so Raven.
Okay, I say.
Guess you didn't see that in your future.
The Proud Family is a really good show.
Yes, it
can't
is.
Even be. All right, so let's go.
Now it's Moesha versus Girlfriends, the two popular shows that were on the
90s and 2000s.
90s UPN eras.
Mm-hmm.
I think Moesha ended before it went to WB or
it did because
CW.
it never got a season finale.
Yeah. See. Both two shows that never got series finales.
That's what they do to black people.
Yes.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Girlfriends.
Okay, there we go. So we don't even have to argue that. Sorry, Moesha. You're just a brat.
It was more mature and the storylines were more interesting.
Moesha brought us Brandy as an actor, and I appreciate that.
And Parker.
And we get, if you don't get the Parkers without Shirley Ralph. Oh, that's right.
She was the mom.
She was the
Ray J was her brother.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Ray J's not as problematic as you would think.
Q from Lennox.
R.I.P. Right?
No, you're
because he's dead.
Hakeem. I'm talking about the rapper from Oh man,
who is Q? Q was the boyfriend.
Yes, he's the rapper.
He was like the thuggish boyfriend, right?
Yes.
So
it's Q from Moesha, and he's from that Onyx. I believe it's Onyx was the name of his. Bernie Mac was Uncle Bernie on the show.
Okay, look at that.
Oh, Bernie Mac, love him. But Fredo Star, yes.
Who
I thought he was so cute.
Yeah, he was in the hip hop group Onyx.
Yes. So they did. Moesha brought us so many people that we can't. There's nothing wrong with her. Just like when I think about it, I appreciate the Girlfriends storyline and things.
Yeah, Girlfriend storylines, they had a lot going on. Yeah. Like I think at one point, well, first off, I'm still annoyed that they replaced Flex with the other guy for
Dwayne
Darnell,
Johnson.
yeah,
Dwayne Johnson
as Darnell, right?
Me too.
Yeah,
but I think that's because he went to one-on-one.
Yeah, I think that's probably what it was.
Yeah. All right, so let's go to the next one: Insecure versus The Game. All right,
count
it off.
3, 2, 1. Insecure.
All right. I didn't even feel like we had to really do that. But I didn't want to say anything to change your vote if it might have been something else.
No, that's fine. Okay, so here we go. For the next one, it's Queen Sugar versus Scandal.
Okay.
All right, now this one is a little bit more difficult because I've seen all of Queen Sugar and haven't seen all of Scandal, but I recognize the importance that Scandal did with creating black dramas led by black women. So I understand that part and how important that one. This is going to be
because they're both one. We have Ava DuVernay against Shonda Rhimes.
Yeah,
which are two extremely amazing, talented, like top tier freaking people when we're talking about Hollywood in general, black Hollywood, black woman Hollywood, like
black excellence, opulence, decadence.
It's a lot. All right, so are you ready?
I guess.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Scandal. I had to
go with Scandal. I wanted to go with
first-
Queen Sugar. You know I wanted to go with Queen Sugar, but the problem is that like
without Scandal, there would be no.
there
Queen
wouldn't
Sugar.
be a Queen Sugar. So yeah.
And also, I would say I've watched more Scandal than I have of Queen Sugar, even though I think they're both amazing shows. And one day I will like finish the Queen Sugar, but I just had to give it props. All right,
Now
how does this go?
It goes the Proud Family versus Girlfriends and Insecure versus Scandal. Now, I think with this round, now that we're in the final four, I think we should really consider the fact that this bracket is our favorite Black girl-led TV shows. We should really consider the main characters and their staying power and impact in Black female-led TV show history. Okay. So really it's Kyla Pratt versus who is Joan? Tracy Ellis Ross. Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, and Issa Rae versus
Kerry Washington.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So the first one is the Proud Family versus Girlfriends.
Yes. And really it's Kyla Pratt versus Tracy Ellis Ross. And as far as like the legacy that they have led and left with these projects and the work that they've done and the influence that they've had, I will say not mine. I will count it down so that we know what it is. 3, 2, 1. Girlfriends.
It's hard because both of them are amazing actresses.
Yeah.
They have done a lot for TV, movies, etc. But I just have to go with Tracy Ellis Ross. I love her.
I love Kyla Pratt too.
I love both of them. But Tracy Ellis Ross, she has been around for longer.
Not only has she been around for longer, she was on.
She has done so much.
She went from Girlfriends to Blackish.
Right, between the lines was Blackish pre. Remember
on
that show with Malcolm Jamal Warner?
I
liked that show too, and then she went to Blackish.
Malcolm Jamal
Warning.
And then she went to Blackish.
Yes.
And then, she's doing, and she's, to me, I love her social media.
Mm-hmm.
I love seeing her as like a 50-something woman who is always just her most self.
And you know what?
I love that.
And isn't she not married with kids?
She's not married. She has no children. She's always
and she's happy about that. She flaunts the fuck out of it. And I'm like, I love that. Dope as hell.
That just
look at that.
Makes me feel so
biological
good.
Clock be damned. Like, fuck out of here.
To me, I'm just like, especially because knowing, like, as a woman, how people constantly try to push that down your throat. If you need to be married, you need to have kids. You need to have kids. You need to have a man.
It turns out that you can just be happy,
but in whatever way that you choose. Mm-hmm. And that is okay. But I think that I love that about her. And she always is just like praising women, especially Black women. So that's why she gets my vote. All right. Yeah. So our next one is between Insecure and Scandal.
And really it's Issa Rae versus Kerry Washington. This is going to be difficult.
Oh, my God.
This is going to be a little bit difficult. Probably more so for you than it is for me. Scandal. Let me just pull up Kerry Washington's.
I should have really looked at this before I suggested we do it because this is difficult. I do not know.
That's right. She was in Django Unchained.
There's so many for both of them. There's so many good things. This is like.
Have you seen the 688?
Yeah. No. This is really not. I've not seen that yet. I do want to watch it though.
Okay.
Because I wrote about them a few years ago.
If there's enough time tonight, maybe pop it in. But.
All right, so we have to go through Kerry Washington
versus
but the thing about all right, no, I'm gonna save my votes my explanation for after. All right, are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Why isn't it? Okay.
3, 2, 1. Insecure. Wow, really? Why'd you go with Insecure instead of Scandal?
Here's the thing. Both of them have amazing Black women producers, writers, directors, right?
I think Issa Rae has done a lot more post Insecure as far as like creating stuff for other Black women, like the Black Lady sketch show, rap shit, and
but then
isn't there
also,
another show that's coming out?
I feel like she's working on something else. She's in the Black Mirror right now.
She's in the
both in writing and directing and acting. She has had a lot on there. And then also when I think about Insecure, I also think about what's her name on Insecure, Kelly.
Natasha Rothwell.
Mm-hmm. I think about
without Insecure, you don't get that
White Lotus.
Yeah, White Lotus,
that she's on now,
or that show that just got canceled on Hulu. Her show that got canceled from Hulu. Not Survival of the Thickest. What is it called?
Oh, it was something dialogue. How to dialogue. I want to watch that now because I did not think it was gonna get. But I heard that people liked it, so I had friends who watched it. So you have Natasha Rothwell, Yvonne Orji. You know, she's doing the Pop the Balloon show now,
yeah,
which I've had feelings about. But
good for her.
I just don't like the Pop the Balloon show, to be honest.
You don't like it?
I don't like that. Like, even I just don't feel like it could be something that was just.
It was pretty clever initially when it first came out, but like now people are being mean about the balloon popping. Like the one that we watched at Super Bowl or whatever that was, where like the dude just literally kept putting the balloon on the floor and like stomping on it, and I'm just like, dude, like why?
It's just like trying to show the world. Remember the one I showed you from the Howard dude?
Yeah.
There's just too much.
Or like the nerdy Black dude. Anytime there's a nerdy Black dude who's like very successful, but like he's a nerd or something like that.
Or if it's a nerdy Black, anytime a nerdy Black girl or guy.
All the girls pop their balloons and they just like.
You don't look like a quote unquote Instagram baddie.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know. I don't like people being mean or rude because I've seen some that the people who are like talking to like the people who have the balloons that leave over and they're like, oh, is this your person, your type? And like, this one guy was like, no, she has a lot of wrinkles. And only the reason I liked that clip was because another girl who was in the balloon popping thing, who had captured a balloon, she popped it because she was just like, you know, I don't like people who are mean. And that was mean and unnecessary to say. Like, you might not be interested in her physically or whatever. You can just say, you know, it's not physically attracted. That's it. That's fine. Yeah. You don't have to be physically attracted to somebody. But to go and point out something like, oh, you have too many wrinkles is just, to me, I'm like, we don't need to. We already have.
But you know that these people exist, right? Like,
no, the thing is, these people exist. But the reason why
you just don't want them in your cipher. You don't want mean people, which is weird because look at me. I'm mean. I'm a mean fuck.
I think that the way that you have people who will be like, you know, these stupid conversations about these $200 dates and is Cheesecake Factory a date and all these other bullshit things that come on the Black Twitter timeline, those are actually negatively impacting dating and relationships for both Black Twitter and everybody else because everybody's only spying on Black Twitter. So anything that happens for us goes out into the ether, and then these children are seeing it and doing extra stuff. So I'm just like, I just don't like that sort of vibe. But anyway, back to our list.
We got our final two. The last two, which is Girlfriends and Insecure. This one might be a little bit challenging, I would say, because not just Tracy Ellis Ross, but the entire history of the show, the legacy of these shows.
And then you have Issa Rae, who has her own legacy.
She's created her own legacy.
So much for Black TV and just TV in general.
I'm looking up Issa Rae real quick.
I think that both
Oh, yeah, it was 5 seasons. I knew it was 5 seasons.
of these shows have done so much for Black people, so much for Black women,
Mm-hmm.
that without them, I think that
Yeah, she's a producer on a lot of stuff.
without Girlfriends, we don't get a show like Insecure. But without Insecure, we don't have a lot of various TV shows that are out right now.
Rap shit, Black Lady Sketch Show,
And even non-Black
Sweet
shows.
Life, Los Angeles.
Oh yeah, she had those reality. She's literally, but we also get we have Awkward Black Girl and how that propelled that sort of like. If I could say, if without Awkward Black Girl, we couldn't have a show like Always Sunny in that same way. If it's like mockumentary, cute, funny, weird, kind of out of the box thinking.
Mhm.
I just feel like there's so many more things layered on. All right, okay. Are you ready?
But Girlfriends, an argument could be made that Girlfriends was our Black Sex in the City, and without Girlfriends, a lot of these shows might not exist.
That's
Girlfriends
true.
was a trailblazer for its time.
That's true.
Kelsey
Now,
Grammer was like the fucking.
but the question
producer of
is,
that
the
shit.
question we have to ask ourselves:
Mm-hmm.
does it matter who did it first, or does it matter
Who did it best?
That's the question. Because yes, without the one, we wouldn't have the other.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, do we just only honor
Now I will ask you this:
proximity, or who did it first, or like who actually has created
I will
more
ask
lanes?
you this. I will posit this question to you. Have you gone back and watched Girlfriends?
Yeah.
Have you gone back and watched Insecure?
Yes.
Okay. When?
Just recently.
Like, not since. I mean, since both of them have ended. Have you gone back and watched both of them?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Then why the fuck don't you watch those instead of watching Law and Order, fucking Criminal Intent bullshit?
You don't have to talk about. This is my.
It's fine.
My pop culture indulgence.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, are you ready?
All right. Let's do it.
Go.
Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Are you ready?
3, 2, 1.
Insecure. There we go.
Oh,
And I was gonna go with Girlfriends, but I think that at the end of the day, Issa Rae has been a powerful voice for Black women in the media space.
Mm-hmm.
She's doing a lot of really good things, and her legacy is still growing. You know what I mean?
I 100% I agree. And I think of like the way that I will say perhaps this might be a recency bias, but I think about the fact that like when I am watching these shows, which of these shows do I really like? When I want, like, me going back and watching them,
Mm-hmm.
I would much rather finish Insecure than finish Girlfriends, because I didn't even finish really watching Girlfriends because I was getting so annoyed. But with Insecure, even when I'm annoyed, I can still push through because I still feel like
Insecure has an actual ending.
Yeah, and
even though
like I could enjoy
did not agree with that ending. Like I still to this day think that things could have worked out with that fucking bipolar dude.
Yeah,
I forget his name.
Yeah, Nathan.
And Nathan. Yeah, I still think Nathan was a better choice than motherfucking.
Yeah.
Ugh, God damn it. But whatever. I also thought that they wrote off that bisexual dude in the first season, like really quickly. Like and like when he pops up again, it's like, yeah, he has a girlfriend because he might like dudes, but he likes women too, and be more open-minded.
And you could have
Yvonne
been
Orji.
happy and enjoying and all this stuff.
You
way
could have been
earlier than that.
Yeah, you could have been kikiing it up, walking down the street, being like, "Oh, aren't they attractive?" Like, you could have been having somebody who agrees with you instead of being like, "Oh, why are you asking me if they're attractive?"
She
Like,
literally
I'm
said-
insecure about my manhood because I don't look at guys like that.
She literally had to wait 3 to 4 more seasons of her life because she had this weird obsession with also he was talking about like, yes, I'm bisexual. I had this experience in like college that let me know that like, yeah, I would be down for anyone, which is like, okay, wasn't like a weird or a secret or something like that where she should feel this kind of like insecurity. But like, for you to be so insecure about your partner having interest in someone in the same sex, I feel like that's going to create all like your jealousy and weirdness is going to manifest that same way with the same sex, and that's going to be annoying in general. So like, it was just, I didn't feel bad for her and all her trials and ups and downs. But
Yeah.
also good for him that he was actually with someone who actually wanted to be with him.
Yeah.
And wasn't going to be weird and judgmental. Because then it's like, if y'all were to have kids, you're going to be weird and judgmental to your child, depending on what they say they like or who they love when they grow up.
And fuck you for not giving Lil Rel a shot. Like,
Yeah.
he was very much like,
I liked him a lot.
I liked him a lot too. He was funny. He was charming.
And he's attractive.
He was attractive.
Even before Lil Rel had
And then-
lost all this weight, I always thought he was so attractive.
And then they just sort of passed it off. Like, there wasn't even a scene of them not really like working out. It was just like the next scene was just like, I just couldn't make it work. Or like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
Like,
Just
are you
because he
kidding
was
me?
a little bit like had a little bit more meat on him. Like, I just felt like that was just such a shallow
We
thing.
call that the bone crusher. When you
And-
got that gut and you just lay that on top of them and you crush them. Yes, you could be an obtuse angle, or you could be a parallel and crush them. Let them feel stomach to stomach.
Well, she was missing out. So good for
Bone crusher.
I'm still saying congratulations to Insecure because you want to know what? When there's going to be another show that comes out after Insecure that has these same kind of relationship situation things. Hopefully they learn a lot from them. But yeah, so that was our bracket.
That was our bracket for this
episode.
one.
And
Oh, wrong one.
thank you everybody for playing around with us. Tell us, write in, let us know what you got. If you had any,
if you had different brackets,
differences.
let us know, because like we want to hear what y'all brackets were. Like, which one came out in your top 4 and your top 8, and which one came out number 1. Like, some people may have put Queen Sugar or Proud Family all the way through.
It's very true. And why?
We'd be curious to know if you did and why.
And also, if there are other type of bracket type of things y'all want us to do, let us know so we can create that for you and put some things on the list.
Yeah, brackets are fun.
They are fun.
Yeah. Shout out to Ballin' Out Super, my friend Lawson, who's had me on his podcast. I'm on the Patreon episode, so get those Patreons from him so you can hear me. And I'm talking about anime brackets. So the best anime of all time. Turns out Fearin is really popular in that audience, and I just started watching it today.
Also, Wrestling Kickback with Matt and Mari.
Yes, Wrestling Kickback.
We did the bracket for best Black wrestlers.
Yes, we're gonna
So
have to have
watch
them
out.
on here.
Yeah, we do.
Pretty soon.
And Lawson too.
Yeah,
I think there's something we could do for everybody. Where we do one mega episode where we're all talking and hanging out together. I don't know.
maybe that'll be for 150.
Or 200. Because we're getting close.
Yeah, we are getting close.
We're getting close. Maybe
Yeah.
one group for 150 and then another group, but everybody for 200.
Yeah, sure.
It'll be a big party.
Sure.
All right. So thank you for coming. Thank you for hanging out with us, listening, sharing, tweeting, commenting, etc., etc., etc. Don't forget to go on our YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere. Linktree, right? I think we. Oh no Linktree yet. Okay, anywhere we are.
That's just $128, and I'm like, we still have to do our taxes.
Follow us, like us, subscribe, comment on your favorite episodes, and just tune in with us next week and every other week to see what kind of shenanigans we got going on.
Yes, we'll be back soon for more mirth, mayhem, and I don't know, music, whatever the next
music.
M is. Until then, take it easy, keep it sleazy. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the show. If you'd like to contact the podcast, you can reach us via email at blackandsnerdypodcast@gmail.com. You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok at Black and Snerdy Podcast, as well as on Twitter at Black and Snerdy. You can find me, Maurice, on all social media under the handle Licorish is Legit. That's LICORISH is legit.
And you can find me on Instagram. It's that's OD THATSOD.E, and on Twitter, THATSOD_E. And don't forget to like, rate, and subscribe to us. Tune in next time to the Black and Snerdy Podcast, where nerds of a feather flock together.
Remember,
bye.
Boy.
Not yet.
No, this is keeping it. We're keeping this in. Don't forget to take your meds and your subs and drink water. Bye.
Bye.
I actually want to keep that.